What is up? It's your boy Nick, aka Old Laddie, come back to do another Bleeds Blue Titans podcast. And in this episode, I'm gonna be talking about, well, the new leaked logo that everybody knows about by now, because I'm a week behind. And then also the news that there is officially a date for the new uniforms, it seems like. And then we'll go over my plan, the part two of my plan to to possibly fix the Titans this offseason. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Make some noise! Touchdown, Titans! Touchdown, Titans!
All right, as most of you guys know, uh, this logo right here was leaked about a week, 8 days ago. I was supposed to do this last week, and my weekend was a little busy last weekend going to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I didn't get to do my podcast. So um, I want to talk about it this time. What do you guys think about this new leaked logo? It may not be exactly like this, but this is what they've put out there. Of course, I have the old ones right there, which I'm still heavily favored on, like because um, to me, as much as I like this one, this new one that's leaked, um, I'm a lot more. It's a too much Oler, and like Houston Oler, which I love the Houston Oler. The the alternate logos we had like a couple years ago, and of course the times that they were the Oilers, I thought that they had really sharp uniforms, but like we're not the Oilers anymore. We're the Titans, and like I don't understand why we want to go back to the Oilers. That's just me personally. I like like maybe some people don't know that Nashville's known as the Athens of the South from back in like way back in the day, like the 1800s or whatever. And that's kind of where the Parthenon was built from that kind of nickname. And I like the Titans aesthetics. I mean, we're called the Titans for crying out loud, but we want to like make ourselves look like the Oilers. I just don't really get it. But I know yesterday it was released that I didn't put a picture on here for of, and I'll add it right here. Um, that there was a billboard that went up around I think it was the Vanderbilt area of town, and today this morning, the Tennessee Titans made it official on their actual Facebook. I'll add that as well. That it is about there was a little bit of speculation yesterday, and they said today the Tennessee Titans made it official that was what they were talking about. Was there's going to be, I think it's May or March the 12th or something. So here in the next couple weeks, they'll be releasing what will be the new Titans uniform. So and logo and probably everything else. But to me, it's just I like it, the new leaked logo, but it's just, and I know a lot of people say that the old Titan stuff is a little bit too busy, and there is a lot of busyness to it, but like it's ours. It's Nashville's, it's Tennessee's. It's what they had when they first got their first logos here. And like I don't understand why we want to go back to this Houston look, this Captain America shield Houston look. I don't really get it, but you know, maybe we'll have maybe this isn't exactly what it is. Maybe there's a little bit of elements of both the the Greek, which I've heard that it's not going to be, but maybe there is, and maybe there's a little bit of balance between the two. So we can only see. Next thing I wanted to get into, I introduced like in my last podcast the first half of kind of going over who we should keep and who we shouldn't keep in what I call the Old Laddie Keys to Successfulness Part 1. So this is going to be the Part 2. I wanted to go ahead and get into that and see what you guys thought about my plans. Now, like it's different. It's 3 different plans. They have different options, and the options will require different mock drafts. So I did the whole thing, and I want to go ahead and present that to you. So in the this was the overall cap space we have coming into the season is about 99 million. I mean, these are rough numbers. These aren't exact numbers or nothing like that. Uh, I did these I did these off-season moves to free us up some additional cap space. So I did releasing of Tony Pollard, and it's supposed to be 7.2. I don't know why I have a comma there, but I do. And then releasing of Calvin Ridley, and obviously we need to release Legarius Sneed. That's been one of the worst, probably one of the worst trades besides AJ Brown in Titans history was traded for Legarius Sneed, if I can talk. I also put down a conditional seventh round pick next year just to get Will Levis off of our. I don't think we need two young quarterbacks competing for playing time. I think we need obviously to put all our resources in Cam and move forward and get a better quality backup, veteran backup than what we had last year. You know, just in case he was to get hurt, because you know Cam's not the biggest guy in the world. Um, yeah, he seems like he's tough as nails, but you know, it doesn't matter how big you are. You know, injuries do happen, and we need somebody that's at least um, can play in a pinch. Let me say it that way. So I don't think we had that last year, and I think we need to worry about getting that this year. Let Will Levis go to another team. I said Jacksonville because his offensive coordinator is now the head coach of Jacksonville, and I thought that'd be a good place for him to start. He could be a backup for Trevor Lawrence, who is at this time he's a pretty vested veteran. I mean, he's been in the league 4 or 5 years, and and so it's okay to maybe have a little bit younger guy behind him, and maybe Liam, was it Liam Colum, I think is the head coach. He could get the best out of Will Levis again, maybe if they need to use him in a pinch. Just hopefully not when we have to play him. So that move would free up about $800,000. So roughly, we'd get about $33 million in additional cap, move us to $132 million in cap space. So with my first plan A, which is like an aggressive plan compared to all the other ones, um, I have keeping Chig. There's a lot of people who are saying just get rid of Chig. I think Chig has pretty good camaraderie with Cam, and I know he's not the biggest guy. He's not the best blocker. Uh, and maybe you could move him around to like play like a large slot role sometimes. Because I know that like there's a lot of people who like in this particular plan, I have us signing Wendell Robinson, if I'm saying it right. And he's a small guy. And then like I don't know who else might play. Um, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how they would play him. I have, Wendell Robinson's probably typically just a slot player. I don't know if they would move people around, but I could see like Jake playing like a big slot if we got to like another um, kind of more traditional blocking or possession type wide tight end, that might be better suited to let Chick move around a little bit. And that's why I kept him on the roster. I mean, we have the money. I think he's a decent enough player. He has time with Cam, and I think that only help Cam get better. And that's what I'm really worried. That's what I'm really trying to do with all these plans. I'm trying to elevate our floor. Like the ceiling might not be the highest in each one of these plans, but like I'm trying to elevate the floor and get rid of some players that are, good guys that are, really work hard guys, but maybe not the most skill level, and then like add additional pieces to make Cam better, because that's where it's really at. It's like we have to have a really good quarterback and a good it's just the way you win nowadays, a good quarterback and a good defense. So that's where I kind of went with this one. So I kept Lynch, I kept Levin, I kept I can't really see my little thing here. I kept I think this is the kicker and the punter. So I kept both the specialists right here, and then I also I didn't add in here, but probably like the long snapper. What's his name? Morgan or whatever. Probably keep him as well. I mean, I think we just put like a 1 year deal on him. and then that's about 15 to 16.5 million dollars in retaining money that it would cost us this particular next season. And then I really thought it was important in this particular plan to upgrade the cornerback and the wide receiver room. So I got I really like Taylor out of New Orleans. Uh, Eric Stokes is a pretty good cornerback. Now I don't know like if they fit the schemes and stuff that like these new coordinators and uh, Robert Sala likes to run. So I mean, it's kind of just guesswork off the talent of the actual players. Um, I don't know if they fit the scheme and whatnot. So I could be totally wrong in these guys, but I was trying to give us quality players that we could sign for multiple years, 3, 4 years here, and then make the defense better, and then give us some room to do something with that particular draft. So I have us picking those two corners. Quiddy Pay as a hopefully he'll be like your he's either going to be your one or two, and we'll see off of like the draft on who we go with the draft, and then how good they do. It might be like this is your more veteran guy. He's more experienced. He does a little bit better. Your rookie guy comes in, gives you some competitive reps and stuff like that, and it helps. So it really just depends on what guy does better in that role. I have Alec Pierce, but it seems like when I made this was like I said a week ago. When I put all these slides together, it seems like Alec Pierce is going to be going to the franchise tag, but maybe, just maybe, we'll luck out he won't. And then Wendell Robinson, we already talked about that, and the free agency um, would be about $72 million. Adding all those numbers together right there, and then I didn't for some reason I didn't put the entire thing together, the entire plan of how much it would cost. Well, let me go over let me do the draft picks real quick. So here's your plan A draft, okay? And oh, by the way, if you see the wrong little logo over here, my AI guy did this, so I could be the wrong logo could be in the wrong spot. I didn't really look at that until after the fact, and that's what it is. So we got with the fourth pick, we got Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami. So like I feel like Ruben Bay can play multiple spots on because he has those shorter arms, but he's still a power guy. So maybe he plays uh, him and Quiddy Pay just go back and forth. Maybe Ruben Bain plays in different spots of the line, and then they both come there. I don't know. Then I got a cornerback from Arizona State and Abney, I think Keith Abney. I think I'm saying that right. And then I got a new running back because we just cut Tony Pollard and Price from Notre Dame. I got a Barbara, which I think I was trying to look at a little bit of film on some of these guys and like their stats and like what people say about them. I mean, like by no means am I any kind of like uh, guy who knows everything about football, but I like when I was watching a little bit about it, I felt like he could be somebody who could move into guard potentially with his size and you know we already have a left and a right tackle. So I mean, right guard is the more needed position. But maybe down the road, if one of those guys we cut loose, like Moore or something, we cut him loose, and then maybe he play over there. I don't know, or he could be a swing tackle and a guard or something. I put I like this Joe Royer from Cincinnati. I thought he was a pretty good tight end. He could probably be like the number 3 tight end, or like say if you wanted to move Chig into that big slot role, you could have him. If you're playing like 12s or something personnel, um, you could have all 3 tight ends really out there, but have one playing like in like a large slot position, just like for size advantage or something and catch radius. I mean, that could help. I don't know. Um, I don't really know because with all the new coaches and all the new schemes, it's kind of hard to know what they want to do. I mean, we know what they have done in the past, but does that mean they're going to continue doing those exact things? I'm not really sure. I was just trying to upgrade each position of need the best possible when I had a chance to do so. So um, we have Tim Keenan. He's a big defensive tackle because I have us losing Joseph Day. Letting him walk in the letting him walk in free agency, if I can talk, and picking up a young rookie to be a lot cheaper and probably closest. I mean, I like Day. I think he's a good player, and Keenan may not be there yet, but I think he could grow into that type of a player. I got us a backup safety depth. I got another guard here just in case. I don't know, like one of these guys, Farmer or Barber, whichever one's the best, they play guard. Whichever one's the best backup tackles, but you know, probably would be Barber would be backup tackle with his length or whatever. But um, just trying to fill these positions of need with some quality depth here. And of course, some of these guys might just be, they might also be practice squad players for a couple of years when you're down in the sixth and seventh round and stuff like that. So, um, and then lastly, I got, of course, you can see I moved around a little bit in a couple places, picked up some picks and moved some stuff around. I'm not going to explain all that stuff. That's just what you do whenever you're in a mock draft. You just move stuff around. There's going to be drafts. There's going to be trades in the draft. It's hard to simulate, or you never know what's going to happen. It's just guesstimation. And so I picked up another wide receiver in McAllister. He's a big body guy. He played pretty well there at TCU. So I thought that he would be a good guy for depth, even if he took a year to be on the practice squad or something. So that moves us to plan B. So plan B is more of a balanced build. Oh, I didn't tell you. Plan A, the total cost of plan A would leave us with about 24.5 to $27 million in cap room after all this happens, given that all these things would exactly happen. So it still gives us a little bit of room to work throughout the season, and it also gives us, just in case there's multiple waves of free agency, like after the preseason, if somebody comes open and they want to pick up or something like that, they have a little bit of cash to make those type of moves. And I try to do that with each one of these plans, because you can't just be like down to zero with like no cash to run for the season and no, in case somebody comes up and available, no way to pick them up. So you don't want to go from 130 something million dollars in cap room to like $3 million in cap room after the draft. You still got to have money to work off of. So I try to keep that in mind when I come up with these plans. Some have a little bit more cap room than others, but of course, there'll be probably other pickups that I didn't include. So, like the retain is pretty much the exact same as the first one. I think the only thing I did was actually add Morgan to this bottom line. I don't think I did that on the first one, but he was, in my head, he was still up there in plan A. So this free agency plan, with a balanced plan, would be about $53 million. We get, because I really think cornerback is our biggest, what we need to get in free agency, because like, not that we don't need to get a draft pick corner. We need to get a young corner that's cheaper, that's still good, but like, it's hard for young rookies to come in and play super well. And I don't think we have a number one, a number two, or number three cornerback right now. So it's really important to get that room filled back up with some talented players. So, I picked up Greg Newsom for a couple years here, and Jason Piddick, which he also think he played in San Francisco, if I remember correctly. So he might be pretty good on Robert Saleh's scheme. The next person I picked up was Arnold Abacati, which is an edge rusher from the Atlanta Falcons. I kind of think he's been a little bit underused. I think Atlanta picked up two good rookies last year, and he kind of got pushed to like the third or fourth guy. I mean, I don't think he's going to come in and be like an all pro, probably even a Pro Bowler, but like I think he could give you the quality snaps that like you're probably maybe even better quality or snaps than you were probably getting from like some of the backups we had last year. Like he could probably get you 6 to 8 sacks probably and pressure the quarterback pretty continuously, and still be he could be your first, second, third, somewhere in there pass rusher. This one I picked up a kind of veteran guard in Zion Johnson. He has some injury background, but he's a good player when he plays. So, and then I picked up Juwan Jennings from the San Francisco 49ers, which I don't really love the amount of money that because all the money I got from Sports Track or whatever, it was like their estimated market value or whatever. So I just kind of rounded it off to about what I thought it would be. You see, I mean, if it's like 11 and a half or 11 point something, they either rounded up or I kept it at a half or went down to, you know, a little bit lower number. Like if they say it was 11.4, I went to like 11 or something like that. So because you never know what it's going to be. Some of these guys, it says 11 million might be 14. Some that says 22 million might be, 18. I don't know. But like I was just trying to give a guesstimate off of a real reputable like reference material. So I think that Jawan Jennings contract is a little steep. I think he's more like an $18.5 million guy, but I went off the what Sports Track said. So I don't think he's gonna be better than the number two wide receiver, but it gives us somebody who knows uh, how to play good ball in the NFL. So um, we may have a bunch of twos and threes, but you know maybe somebody will still come open later that I don't have right here. And with this particular Plan B, we have a lot more cap room. I'll share with you after the draft for Plan B how much cap room there'll be with this plan. So this one has I moved back in the draft, which I don't really like because there's not a lot of like super. Um, I think they say a lot of blue chippers. I think is the term they use. But I wanted to pick up a lot more draft picks. Uh, that was my goal of this one. So I got a defensive end, Falk from Auburn, and you may notice that I jump around on the names because I can't read very well, and I don't want to butcher people's names as bad as I will, but like I probably will, especially this next guy. We got offensive tackle, which I think he has the size to play guard and then move into tackle too. We have I think it's Eichenanker, Max Eichenanker, but I might be totally wrong. I probably am. And the second pick, then I picked up with moving back some extra third round picks here. And I got Emmett Johnson. I got Jacoby Lane, wide receiver. And then I think he's more like a defensive line player than a defensive edge. LT Overton from Alabama, but he's kind of like a tweener guy. He kind of can play a little bit of defensive tackle and a little bit of edge. So because I didn't get one of the top guys, I got Falk, who's still really good. I kind of wanted to double up a little bit high on the edge position, because we only have Abacati, Arnold Abacati is like their free agent signing right there. So I think there are a lot of like good guys, but no one's like an elite edge. But I think a better edge class than we've had or edge group than we had like the last couple years in Tennessee, I would probably say. So, and I think that anybody working besides probably like Jeffrey Simmons will probably look even better as an edge. Like in my opinion, I think they'll do better than maybe they would on another team. I took cornerback Traydon Stukes, and he's not from Vanderbilt. I believe he's from Arizona State. Like I said, some of these logos over here, I don't know why they did that. And then I took another. I feel like a pretty good guy from actually Vanderbilt, and Eli Stowers, tight end out of Vanderbilt, and he kind of gives us like a big body guy who can be more of that traditional tight end, I think, but also is a good catcher of the ball. Now down here, I kind of like. I wanted to get some safety depth because I think we have like three good safeties, but I think a couple of them are getting a little bit older. We need to get a little bit of youth in there, like the fourth guy, and then maybe like next year get like a even higher round guy or something like that. But I thought this year just getting some depth in there would be good. I took another cornerback out of Toledo. He was, I mean, I think that if I remember the mock draft because it was like a week ago. I believe he was like he had failed like 20 places in that mock draft from I think they had him at like 168 when I was doing it. Of course, it could be different because the combine's about to be starting. I think it is starting today. Uh, Today or yesterday. I don't know. It started a day within the last couple of days. And I'll be talking about that on my next podcast will be the combine. But anyway, um, so some of these guys are going to rise and fall is what I'm trying to say after the combine on how good they run and how good they do the position drills and stuff like that. But like I thought it was good quality, and then I thought it had Deion Burks, and he was another one that had failed in that mock draft, so gave us a little bit more smaller guy, a little more of a shifty guy, which we already kind of have. But like I felt like if we're getting rid of like Calvin Ridley, we might need another shifty guy. I'm not really sure, but he seemed talented. He fell down, like I said, 20 places in that mock draft, so I went ahead and took him. And then like with the plan B, I think the total of like the off season, the draft, and the retaining of players will cost us about 68 million, which would leave about 43.5 to $46 million in cap room. And like I said, we probably want to keep around um, 20 to $30 million. So that still gives us plenty of room to sign a couple more players that I don't even estimate, or people that might not be released yet, or something like that, or it might be after that next wave uh, after the preseason or something like that. So um, I think this one has the most amount of cap room. This plan does, and probably it's also like the most non-feasible plan. But I wanted to give options. I thought that if I was in charge of the Tennessee Titans, I would definitely want to like appraise options that we can have, for road maps to the off season. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do right here. And then we'll go with this last one, this Plan C. This is like a defensive plan first, and we're getting value on our offense. The retain is pretty much the same because I just feel like those guys, the specialists we need to keep. Corey Levin is a good swing interior guy. He can play center and guard if needed. Lynch is a good quality backup. I mean, granted, these years could be different. Chig is really in all three plans, really the maybe he could stay, maybe he could go type of guy, or not go, but not be re-signed, I guess. Um, but like I said, I kind of like him because I think he's a movable chess piece, and he already has some camaraderie and experience with Cam Ward. So I thought it would be good to keep him around, but they may not see it that way. But um, in this particular free agency, the free agency is 58 million. So we have I kind of got Eric Stokes again, and Greg Newsome. So I mean, I'm really big on trying to, like I said, trying to keep getting veteran, very solid guys to be into. And it may not even be these particular players, but I think that philosophy the Titans need to maybe particularly use because uh, it's just I think it's hard. I think cornerback is a really hard position for rookies to come into and play because I don't think in college they play a lot of man. They don't play up on the they give themselves like I mean when I'm watching college ball I don't know the exact yardage, but it feels like anywhere from 10 to 15 yards off the receiver. And they don't do that in the pros. I mean, it's a lot more physical. It's a lot more like man on man. It's a lot more, it's a different type of game. It almost seems like to me. And some of the guys are pretty big that are coming out this year. But then sometimes you have smaller guys that are scrappy, but they got to put some weight on, and they got to figure out how to play that more physical style of play. But so, like I said, I picked these two guys, which I've already picked in the other plans. I think I picked one in A and one in B or something like that. But then in this one, I put Eric Stokes and Greg Newsome in this plan. Uh, this one I picked and this might be a low ball amount for Joseph. Um, Joseph, I can't pronounce his name, but he played for the Chargers. He was really good, I think, probably a little underused. I did pick up because I think I was watching one of the podcasts, and one was really good, really big on bringing Quincy Williams in for that middle linebacker role, and then moving like the linebackers around that we kind of used last year, and then because he's been the green dot guy, he's been like the quarterback of of a Robert Solid defense. I thought it wasn't a bad idea, so I kind of put him in there. Sorry about that. And then I got like Rashid Shaheed, which is he's a good. I mean, we already have a good punt returner, kick returner, but I mean, just in case there's an injury, he's also can do that. And then Elijah Vera Tucker, um, he can play guard and tackle, so I wanted to bring him in as well. So, um, with all that, go to the draft for this particular plan. So in this plan, um, Averill Reese fell to us, which I think is my number one guy. But because he's kind of a tweener defensive end linebacker, I kind of still wanted to get a defensive end with that next pick because remember, this is about defense first and then value offense. So we're emphasizing the defense. So you'll see a lot of defense up here in the front end and then some offense in the back end of this one. And then TJ Parker, which I think he's obviously a tier under these top three guys that are coming in the draft of Bain, Reese, and what is it? Is it Bailey? Is that the other one? But he is good. I think he would be good in that rotation of Reese and who was and Osaway. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not. And then I got me a cornerback. He was ranked pretty high in the mock, so he felt plus he's from Ohio State, and they always put out good quality players. I got Eli Ragdon Redon. You can tell I can't speak English, but I think he's from what I could tell, he seemed like a good like traditional tight end, which is a little bit opposite of keeping Shig and having like kind of that typical possession blocking tight end, which I felt like he probably was. We got another rotational defensive end in Derek Moore from Michigan. And then we got another swing guy who I think is big enough to play guard in Falale Falamo, if I'm saying that right, from Wake Forest. I know I'm messing that up. And then I got really receiver happy at the end of this draft because I knew I needed to get some receivers because in this only really got like a guy who's probably your third or like a number three, number four. It was a specialist and Rashid Shaheed. So I wanted to get some young receivers. I mean, they seemed to work last year and bond pretty well with Moore. So this is supposed to be the Georgia Tech logo. It's not. But Eric Rivers from Georgia Tech, Chase Roberts from BYU, and then CJ Daniels with the last pick for Miami. And then in between there was Cameron Ball, which is a pretty good size, beefy defensive tackle. So all in all, that entire plan would cost about $73.5 million, which would leave us anywhere from $38.5 to $41 million in cap space after all this. So we still have some room to do some stuff. So if we wanted to, overall, I think none of this is obviously going to come into like real action. I mean, some of these players, I gave out a lot of players, so one of these players might get signed by the Titans. But I was just trying to express some different plans, some different ways that like the front office might be thinking of, going to the off season with optional roles, like trying to go through free agency and then pick certain players and then free up. So you're not having to be so need specific when you go into the draft. You can try to get some best player available. You can try to get some needs that you need, and not just have to be pigeonholed into certain picks, which is what I was trying to do. Let me see. All right, so here's all the different plans. This is supposed to say plan B. I don't know why it says that. But you got your aggressive reload, and you get here's your kind of like your stars of each one. So you get your these are your first 3 round picks, first 3 round picks, first 3 round picks. Plus, we talked about who was going to be the free agents. Um, and you guys is, I mean, you can just tell me which one you think would be the best ish type of, we should go after. Should we be really aggressive with like plan A? Should we be a little bit more conservative and then like, see who else can free up later type of situation? Um, I'm kind of a little more for like a plan C. And then, I think that plan C had let me see here. We had, except for the wide receivers, like I said, we still have enough money to get a wide receiver. So uh, if one comes open a little later, or if worse come to worse, and Calvin really went out there and he couldn't find a good contract, maybe you could bring him back, but for a different contract than what he's got right now. I don't know, but I don't think that these two plans are as good as Plan A, but also gives you a little bit more flexibility in Plan B and Plan C. So, what do you guys think about these different plans? What do you think about this whole practice procedure that I try to do of just giving some different options that the Titans might be thinking about, and also, what do you guys think about that logo? What do you think? I think my hat's crazy. What do you guys think about? Are we going to Tennessee Oler look? Do you like the new? Do you miss some elements of the old? Like I will. Um, I don't know either. Or. I mean, I'm going to support the team regardless of whatever plan they take. They'll still be my team. I just might have an ugly logo and uniform to look at for the next little bit. But overall, I think we got a lot of cap space. We have, I think, some good coaches that's came in this year. The front office seems like maybe uh, it's not a two-headed monster that the GM has a role. I don't really know what Chad. I think is what was his name? The guy that was kind of the guy before Chad. I can't remember his name, but he's kind of more like taken back to the. I guess I'd call it the finances and like running the team, but not the. I think like the team, not like the team as the Titans, not like the actual Titans team. I think he does more like now, like making sure the operations of the business is working. Is what I'm trying to say. Um, the ins and outs of like kind of the brand uh, responsibilities, making sure the stadium is being built, all those type of things. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty excited about now. I feel like there was a little bit of like not really lack of vision, but maybe not a clear vision before. And of course, I never really said that before, but I didn't really think about saying it. But I'm excited about where the Titans are going. I'm excited about the draft that's coming up or not the draft, the combine that's coming up this week, and to see who actually participates. It seems like uh, now it's really like a lot of people can show up and they can decide what they want to do, which I have my personal opinion about it. I mean, I understand it to a degree. Like, you don't want to go in there and you don't want to be like, um, you don't want to go in there and be like, make your draft stock worse. But I kind of feel like there's other people that could have came to the combine that would be willing to uh, do all the stuff to help their position. And if you're like gonna be not participating as much, maybe you should just leave it for your pro day. That's just my opinion, but I understand it. It's kind of you kind of got to check the boxes, so I get it. But overall, uh, sorry about missing last week. Like I said, I was out, gone to Chattanooga, Tennessee, but I'm back now, and I can't wait for this weekend to kind of talk about what happened at the combine and get ready for I guess off season coming up. Or free agency period, which comes up in a couple weeks. So I'll be looking at some more of that stuff and just excited to get back into another season, hopefully with more better results. But like I always say, appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Take care of yourselves out there. Take care of each other. And peace, guys.